I've been with government for going 40 years. At, this is my first time to see a ritual of a component of the armed forces na so ritualistic. Isip-isip ko kung pulis ito sa krami, sa labas pa, naubos na yung cake ninyo. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana and members of the Cabinet, AFP Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Rey Leonardo Guerrero, Flag Officer in Command Vice Admiral Ronald Joseph Mercado, and other major service commanders, officers, staff, enlisted personnel of the Philippine Marine Corps, 2017 awardees of the 67th anniversary of the Philippine Marine Corps, mga kasama ko sa gobyerno, mga kababayan ko. You know, as always, Malacanang prepares a very short speech. 2 pages lang po, and considering the solemnity of the moment, actually, to honor the soldiers, medyo basahin ko na lang yung last paragraph maya, but let me just air out my sentiments. First of all, I would like to thank the entire armed forces of the Philippines and the Philippine National Police for a job well done in Marawi City. Ayaw man natin, sabi ko nga, ang lolo ko po, anong lola ko rather, Maranao, kaya sakit man sa loob ko, I had to do it because I have to do it. And if you remember, in the previous 2 weeks or so, I kept on reminding everybody. Actually, it was just a warning, subliminal. Sinasabi ko, do not force me to declare martial law in Mindanao kasi ayaw ko. But pinilit din niyo ako. Well, I have to do my duty for the country. As early as a month before, pati yung mga relatives ko nagsasabi na sa amin that there was a build-up of warm bodies. But yung armas was not really clear to us na the ammunition and ordnance was that aplenty. So we had to fight a long war, and this is something which is really a new kind of fighting. Kung sana lang in the open field where our soldiers are better trained to deal with, kasi the rebellion has always been with us for so many years, and we never thought that we'd fight an urban city. The cover is yung semento pati bakal. And even in other places in the Middle East, Mosul, Aleppo, and all, Raqqa, took them several years to really conquer with all the might of the Allied forces. Dito sa atin, we did it on our own. But of course, we'd like to thank the countries that really helped us. I don't know if they want them remembered or named here, but let me just, out of gratitude, of course, the United States for lending us the equipments, China for giving us the arms, so the Soviet Union, si President Putin also contributed, and Israel, and the others so lent us the equipments that needed really to win the war. ang ano ko po, masasabi ko lang is I have taken steps to really not reward, but do something substantial for our soldiers. I have ordered the NHA to find a lot somewhere here uh, and to build the houses for those who are wounded and those who are unfortunately, pardon the word, rendered disabled. I'd build something like a convalescence village dito sa malapit sa urban cities where the soldiers can have a better access to the hospitals and of course the training for the prosthesis. I guarantee them that for those who are really wanting to stand again, the new science of the use of prosthesis and titanium, the best example would be the Blade Runner who killed his lover, but he was a very good runner using titanium. And we can have it for the soldiers, that is good. And that is why the other day I told Defense Secretary Lorenzana that I'd be releasing 500 million for the wounded and disabled soldiers para lang sa kanila. I hate to say this in public, but the bureaucratic greed has always been there with the monkey wrench. And I want yung mabilisan sabi ko, ibigay ko na lang sa opisina ni Delfin and siya nang bahala for the immediate release of the medicines and the shop around for the titaniums. Quite expensive, but in the long run, it would have its benefits and make the soldiers happy again. I want to emphasize the soldiers that I love as for as long as I'm there, I love my soldiers, I love my police. And you can be very sure that I am there when the moment needs me. Nandiyan ako sa tabi ninyo. That is why lahat ng ginawa ko first was really this is not to beg the issue. Anyway, it's rightfully yours. The first thing that I did when I was president was to talk to Binamin Jokno, the secretary of budget. Sinabi ko, I want the soldiers' pay doubled. And he agreed with me, pero hindi pala talaga you pull up a certain grade in parity. It has to be lesser. But that's the law. I said, well, okay, but I want it increased by leaps and bounds. And so, January, all of the soldiers of the armed forces of the Philippines, Philippine National Police, BGMP, yung mga bumbero will have an increase, almost double their salaries. And I decided on this, long time ago. Marawi was just a distant star, but there was this warning. And if you guys would kindly remember, not really your fault, but during the first command conference, we had a very serious discussion of the law and order situation in the country. And we are almost done, and we're about to dismissal time, sabi ko, maupo muna kayo sandali because I think we have forgotten the most important thing that we have to consider now. And I said that I see the darkening clouds of terrorism coming our way. And on the dot, talagang pumasok. Mabutit na lang, we had a fair warning and we were able to, as a matter of fact, prepare for this. Intelligence committee was doing its work, but over time we just ignored the lawlessness in Marawi. parang the local officials, sad to say, really were not doing their duty. And some of them, again, which makes me sad, is that most of them were into the shabu business. And that is why I know that part of the terrorism there were funded by arms because of the earnings were that huge, and they were able to buy almost everything. But I hope this will not happen again, and I'm sure that we will not allow it. I hate to kill a human person, especially Filipino. Masakit yan sa akin. But we'll just have to pray that everything will, will have a smooth sailing. There will never be the storms that would put the ship of state in danger again. But may I say to you that we have to prepare for the next. It's going to come somewhere, somehow, and we have to be prepared for this. In my time, I told the Defense Department that I will not buy any second-hand equipment or whatever weapons that we need. Either we buy it or we don't. Yung bago talaga na mga baril. There was this order by us in America. Bilisan na tayo ng 23,000 M4s. Tuto yung 5.56, but nabara sa US Congress. Let me state it publicly here and now. Wala akong problema sa Amerika. But you know, in America, it cannot be trusted with this kind of things. Because the president, despite his enormous powers, just like the Philippine Constitution, Congress almost seems to have a parity in the powers. And they can derail. Kagaya nung ginawa natin, we were expecting it. Si John De La Rosa was hoping that it would come. Kasi sabi ko yung warning. But you know, when these members of Congress talked about it and started to make a raucous out of, importation here because of the human rights conditions, it got stalled. So I was compelled to shop around. And China was really very unkind and to a fault sa atin and give us the additional firearms and the sniping rifles. Dumating yung kay President Putin, so nagpapasalamat tayo sa kanila. So that the next round of orders would really be either Israel or sa Russia. And we have the new ones, and we even have the new trucks. And I know they're durable because at one time the city of Davao, when I was mayor for 22 years, nagbili kami ng Russian-made na jeep. And it really lasted the money's worth. Talagang matibay. Those made in Russia. Sabi ko, kung mahirapan tayo dito, I'm not saying this with contempt. We remain to be the best of friends with America. Most of you, pagkatapos niyan, or some of you went to schooling in America. And I do not blame you if your sentiments really remain with the power who helped us for the longest time. But the change of the situation now, and even the geography of the world is really changing. I just hope that Korea would have the sense and to avoid it. Because, whether we like it or not, we remain to be friends, courteous. If I were to insist on our arbitral claim as demanded by some of the justices, I would run afoul with everything else. Because China is not only the power that is claiming a part of the China Sea. Taiwan has a claim and it overlaps the northern part of the country, yung ating economic zones. And Vietnam has another idea of what is his or her. And Malaysia, and they will start really to pile up. Instead of just facing one, I'd be facing many. Kaya kung magka-concessions given or conceded, the other countries who are also claimants in the same area will start to assert. Yan ang problema ko. It's really the changing geopolitics. And the islands there are being developed with batteries. And almost yan. Ang sinabi ko na naman kay Mr. Xi Jinping, we will not give up our claim sa pag-asa pati yung the nearby islands that we have occupied already. Small islands. Sabi niya na we will not, and this assurance he gave to the foreign secretary, na hindi niya gano'n. He will not build something that is Scarborough Shore. I just hope that he would honor it because it will change the entire geography of the world. And if the war starts, I don't know what would be the next geographical division of Asia. Yan ang mahirap sa just like in the Middle East. Geopolitics changed the entire Persian Empire and the Ottoman Empire. At dito, I really don't know what will happen. But it is the politics and power that would change the entire landscape of the political situation of the world. It is really a geopolitic thing, and we'll just have to consider ourselves now, not in a defensive position, but to insist na itong muna ang atin at wag tayong, kasi kung we assert and go there, the other countries, Malaysia, I'm sure, and Indonesia, would also begin to push for what they think is their territory. I hope you understand that because I cannot afford to go to war. I know that it would end up in a massacre. I cannot start we don't have to be nuclear arms and everything. As a matter of fact, we are just bystanders. But what I can do really is to strengthen my own, in the meantime that we are waiting for. I am tempted to tell you something of my theory, but I'm going to APIC tomorrow, and we have the bilaterals. But I'm sure, I think some of the military men would go there. It would be at that time that I'd be frank with China also. I know where she's going, the direction, and laro ito ng geopolitics. Sabi ko, it would change the entire landscape of Southeast Asia if something goes wrong. But you'll have to trust me na pupunta ako doon, but I will assert something, and that is our inherent right to one day really put a stake to what we think is ours. It is not the time to do it because the world is aflame. Korea is posturing. I don't know if it's really an honest to goodness intention to go to war if they are on the losing end, or it is just, you know. And while we were looking the other way around, so, things got changed here. Bigla lang pagtingin natin, but they were taking a while, and we were looking into the direction of one crisis. But when we started to scan, we found out that something has changed. But the greatest asset that we have is that we have the only land base there facing China is Palawan. You cannot sink an island, can you? So yan ang ano natin. It's really Palawan. It's a huge battleship facing the entire. I'm not going to specify, Russia might be kind to us, making friends, but I said, you can never tell what would happen there. Yung mga battleships nila are just there, and you can sink them. No? The other countries can do it. Pero ditong ating Palawan, which is really the parang, well, I said they cannot sink that. And that is a land-based asset which only we. Tayo lang, ang pinaka-approximate talaga. That is just my analysis of the things which I have to talk to them about what I feel is developing there. So yan po ang report ko sa inyo. But may I reiterate my support to you will have everything you will need. Sabi ko, at no other time, hindi ako nagyayabang, at no other time na ang armed forces makuha nila ang gusto nila. Armas, and well, of course, lahat, the intelligence equipment, buy them, whatever I can get hands on that I think is, and our soldiers who are there suffering will have the mitigations of treatment and everything. I said it's gonna be hindi ako papayag yung mga plastic na cast. I need good legs for them to walk again. The titaniums and whatever's available in the market. I can assure you that you will have the best. I intend to, not for my use. I don't need it. I'm just a passing official dito. Just like you, but shorter yung amin. It's just years. Dumadaan lang kami sa opisina na yan. But I hope to build a strong armed forces, yet, and a strong police. When I don't care about the violations o yung human rights, hindi naman, kita mo sila hanggang nagde-demonstrate, wala naman ako, I have distanced myself. I have not even talked to Director General Aquino for the longest time. Wala, ayaw ko na, sabi ko, sige. Whether it succeeds or fails, well, the day of reckoning will come. It's undermanned and we have many expenses to meet, challenges to answer. So, kung tama na yan sa kanila, because that is what they want, well, okay. We can have the reckoning maybe years to come. Sabihin ko, sinabi ko sa inyo. I'm about to end. Let me just tell you, at lahat ng kayo namang mga Philippine Navy na assigned doon. As a matter of fact, the first guy I wanted to be in the cabinet was Willie Wong. I know that he was not a jolly good fellow sometimes, but I believed in his integrity, and I had called him twice dito. And every time I met him, talagang ayaw niya. Nagmamakaawa na yung mama. Yung ang dumadaan lang kami dito, it's very hard to look for an honest man. But I can assure you, since I made a few promises in election, that I will take care of graft and corruption, then I will finish the drug, which is really punishing our country, and the law and order. But I have to talk to the communists, but it seems that we cannot understand each other. Good friends coming on, and I could travel the ideological lines to and fro. But the problem is, I am no longer a mayor. Na sinasabi ko nga sa kanila, I'm tasked with the governing a nation. I cannot trade things with you na hindi akin, sa tao to eh. So diyan kami it has bugged down simply because I do not want to talk to them anymore. You just cannot ask for something overnight. I am not the despot or ruler of the Philippines. Sabihin ko, ibigay natin yan, bigay. No, you have to contend with the people, Congress, and the rest of the nation. So diyan ang paputol yung law and order natin at yung we continue to talk sa mainline, MNLF. I'm hanging on to it, hoping that they would rein everything there once they have the federal setup. Let me just be frank with you. I'm from Mindanao. I am not threatening you. I am supposed to be the one encouraging you. But itong sa Mindanao, something has got to give there. Otherwise, even if you ask yung mga native, General De La Rosa is from Mindanao, he knows na magkagulo talaga. So we have to have somebody with us to fight terrorism. Because if they combine, we will have a hard time. If the one that the dream that they are asking cannot be realized, and they will call for a unified stand regarding Mindanao, mahirapan ho tayo. So I said, something has got to give there. If you do not want a federal setup, fine with me. Wala akong problema. We can remain the unitary type, which is not good. But you have to reconfigure Mindanao. We have to do it. Because if we don't, I said, the drawback is there might be a serious trouble. I'm trying to ginagawa ko na ang lahat magawa ko to face these problems. Every night I ponder on how I would go about governing the country. But you can be very sure that uppermost of or almost of my thoughts would be to protect the Republic of the Philippines. My duty is to protect the people and preserve our country known as the Republic of the Philippines. Maraming salamat po.